You guys, it's Jax. Welcome back. We're on the ranch doing some ranching today, all right? So here's what we're doing. We're already late. They're already out there going. I just want to fill you in real quick, give you an overview of what's shaking today. Let's see, it is getting to be late summer. One of the things that we've been dealing with, as you know, is the drought. We've been short on rain. We've been short on hay. And a lot of times that means that you're gonna have to sell your calves early. Before you can sell your calves, they need to be vaccinated, all right? Now, if you remember way back to branding in the spring, you have to give your little calves, when they're little, just little babies, you gotta give those calves some protection for the summertime to keep them healthy and happy from some of the little bugs and ailments that they may encounter as they're out ranging around in the wild through the summertime. So now summertime is ending, and before you can sell your calves, they need to have some vaccination. They need to have a little bit of protection, because when you separate the calf from its mother to send it off to college, I always like saying that. When you separate the calf to send it off to college into the wide world, it becomes very susceptible. As it leaves the comfort of its mother's milk and all that, it can open itself up to get sick and to possibly die. And so we want to bring these calves in. This drought thing's been weird, but they have to have this vaccine inside their body for about a month before it becomes efficacious. Is that the word? It's kind of above my intelligence, but anyway, they have to have this shot in their system for a month, and then they'll actually start to have protection from the medicine. So what they're gonna get, we'll give them that now, and then that'll free us up so that we kind of have the ability to sell our calves when we need to. We definitely have a month worth of pasture for the cattle, but beyond that, it's really hard to say. You'll see when we get out here, right now it looks oddly green. Do you remember last year when we got that weird rain shower late in the summer after all the drought and everything turned green for like a week, and then it went super hot and dry again and it all burned up? Do you remember that? If not, you can go back and check out that video from late last summer. That kind of happened again last week. And if I get out there far enough, I'm gonna show you something that was, hey Marnie. These guys are interrupting me, look at this. Hey you yahoos.
Hey.
How am I supposed to record an introduction when you're yakking, Marnie? Oh, good old kiddos. Anyway, oh yeah, so it's green right now. We had this really strange little blast of like super intense, like 20-minute moisture, and it just boop, that grass has started growing again. So this week the forecast is like mid-90s. Hopefully we can get through that and it won't burn this up, because right now it looks like, hey, we might have a little fall grass. Again, we have the hay is really poor situation. We'll get into that later, show you some more footage on some of that. But for now, let's get out and let's go move some cows.
Water of it.
What'd you find?
A giant nest of hornets who are walking right now.
Show me. Right over there.
Careful, Daddy. Ooh, nasty pillows.
They're not very nice.
No.
We'll have to take care of those, because that's right where we're working cattle today. And those won't be very nice. We'll take care of that. A little pest control on the ranch. Just double checking the gates before we bring the cows in so we don't get mixed up with our other cattle over there. I think we're okay. Everything looks tight. Everything looks right. I think we're good to go. Armstrong, what do you think, old son?
Scary.
Should we rock and roll?
Yeah.
Ribbit? There's some serious green, right? See that out there? It's weird, and I mentioned this last year, but here we are again, where it feels like it feels like springtime out here. It's really weird. The weather right now is like in the low 70s this morning, and it's green everywhere, and there's like fresh grass growing. It's so weird. Again, just a reminder, if we could get like one more rain shower out here, it would really grow our pastures up for the fall. Something else I wanted to give you a heads up. You're gonna notice 0 horses out here. 0 horses and a lot of machines. My sister and brother-in-law are at the ranch living, and they'll be out on some machines. You see old Rooster out in the Suburban. We have some horses, but we're kind of in a weird spot with our horses right now. They're kind of aging out, and dad's good old horses both are, I don't want to say they're crippled, but they both are they get sored up after you use them. So you take them out and you run cattle for a day with them. They're really sored up, and kind of hate to do that to them. And any of you guys familiar with the horse market right now? It's outrageous. You think the car market's bad right now? You should go check out the horse market. It is not a good time to find a horse, and I don't know when that's going to correct itself, but a good working ranch horse, you're looking at anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 for a good working ranch horse, which is outrageous. A few years ago, you used to be able to get those babies picked up for like anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 would get you a real solid working horse. And those days are gone. I think it's because a lot of people are getting into horsemanship and trying to reconnect with their old youth or something. I don't know. But the price is through the roof. So right now we've got old horses that we don't want to sore up, and trying to look at replacing those right now just the cost is crazy. So until that corrects itself, we'll just continue to do what we do, and we'll herd cows with the drone. Oh, isn't that horrible? You like true cowboys and cowgirls, excuse me, out there are, yeah, you're like, come on, you guys. But you got to get it done. You got to do what you got to do, and when a horse costs more than an ATV at the moment, it's tough. And with the price of hay, the shortage of grass, it's hard to want to go out and pick up any more mouths to feed on the old rancheroo. Any more mouths to feed? We got enough right here.
Who's the rubber cowboy?
What's that? Say it here.
Who's the rubber cowboy?
Who's the rubber cowboy? What is a rubber cowboy? Oh man, that's a good question, Armstrong. Rubber cowboy is the man that drives the ATV because he's driving on rubber instead of riding a horse. That's a good name. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. You guys want to see something crazy? Here's a sight for sore eyes. Okay, we've got a little minute because they're all way down on the east end of the place picking up. We've got the cows right now. They have full run of the entire ranch. So when it comes to gathering for something like this, they're all over the place. So it takes a little while to get everything centralized and then be able to push them into the corrals. But this was one of the weirdest right here. You see that? What drought are you talking about? There ain't no drought in Montana. You got a full reservoir in the late summer months. So you wouldn't even believe this. We couldn't believe it. When Dad told me about it, when Rooster told me what happened out here, I couldn't believe it. This is a pretty good sized reservoir, and this reservoir has not had water in it for, let's see, it did not fill last summer. It's probably been like 2.5 years. Would have been not this summer, not last summer, but the spring before that was the last time that this reservoir had like legitimate water. Now in the springtime, it would get like a little puddle, like, hey little buddy. It would get one of those in the bottom of it. It's probably out there in the middle. It's probably almost 5 feet deep. And I was telling you about that crazy little blast of rain we got the other day. At the ranch, which is, you probably can't see, maybe you can see the buildings way back there. But at the ranch, we got, you know, it was solid. Like it was a real good solid rain. Our rain gauge is acting up, so I'm not sure exactly what we got for rain. Whatever we got, they got way more of, just like right here. You know how those thunderstorms can just be bizarrely like localized? They got some kind of cloud burst out here. Somewhere right in this little drainage valley. See, this goes, you can see where the yellow grass is tall, and then it kind of curves to the right, and there's a hillside where the cows are. This hillside here must have absolutely just got hammered with like 1.5 inches of rain in like 20 minutes because this reservoir filled up. This is the only reservoir on the entire ranch, you guys. It's so bizarre because the creek, I know, creek, When I say crick, I mean creek, but we say crick in Montana. Anyway, there's a creek that runs from the ranch yard all the way through. You've seen it before in previous videos, that runs down, and the creek is dry. It runs about halfway down the ranch, and then that's it, it ends. And it's never actually dried up out here ever in the 17 years now, I think, since we've been here. So to come out here and see this reservoir with water in it, it's like, what? So anyway, just kind of a fun little miracle, you could call it. We've had to reactivate. We have one old well here on the ranch that we haven't used. We actually shut it off because it's right next to the creek, and we haven't had a need for it because the creek's there and the creek's always run. Well, since the creek went dry, we had to reactivate that well, get the power turned on so that the cattle have water out here, because otherwise they don't have water anywhere in this whole back section of the ranch. They have nothing. So to have this reservoir fill up is a huge thing, because now this section of the ranch has a good water supply, at least for now, some good fresh, I know it probably doesn't look fresh to you, but it's very fresh, recent water that came blasting down from the skies. Army, you wanna go for a swim?
No.
How about you, Rabbit?
No.
You sure? Cool off once?
I want to.
Okay, run out there and go jump in. See that? See what I'm talking about? Look at that fresh new grass from that raging downpour. Even the alfalfa growing back up, and the grasshoppers seem to have moved on. We got really bad hoppers a few weeks ago, and they seem to have moved west. So cross your fingers for us. If this will grow up and make some, some really strong pasture for the fall, it'll help us keep our calves longer. You remember, we're bringing them in to give them these shots because we may have to get rid of them soon, but there's a chance that we won't. So anyway, that's the hope. If this will grow, we can keep them probably clear into November. And the longer we keep the calves, if you're wondering why we'd want to keep them, they grow and they get bigger, and the heavier they are, the more that they'll bring at market. The more they'll fetch at the market. Army's got a new name. The Rubber Cowboy. He goes, here comes the Rubber Cowboy. The Rubber Cowboy. Just riding them wheels of rubber.
I don't know what that means, but I'll take it on.
What now?
Don't say that.
Them boys about as big as you.
shot. I'm all the way to the end. Maybe a sec. Tape that so it's
one
still.
extra.
Was there 8 in here now?
No, I mean, it calls for 7. Wait, he'll tell you when. And when he does, you really push it.
Okay. Where should we go?
Push hard. Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry, out. My bad. That shouldn't have been hard for me. Hey Fred, come in or out, buddy?
Coming out easy.
Yeah.
You know, I've got that ball of iodine. It's on the ground. You know that? Where the faucet is. On the front is on the next one.
Poor dude. Oh man, that would suck. Pull them scabs all out.
Yeah,
Some pus coming out of them. Thankfully, they're not like a dog.
Yeah, that's fairly easy. Does that look like one there, dude? Or is that just paws? Oh. Feel any? I don't know. Just like calves.
We got the whole entire alleyway, so. Come on, old bubbies. Go! Ho! Ho! Oh, they need to just move. They'll fit. They just gotta go out. Come on, calves, move up the way. Go! 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 Go!
Find a clear spot. Not full of junk.
There he is, right there. A little slippery. You gonna get him?
Dang it. Keep surfacing.
You guys, we've had this sucker fish in here for years, probably 4 or 5 years now. And these cows came and they sucked this tank down pretty dry while they're waiting for their calves to get worked. And I hadn't seen that fish in a long old time, but he's still in here. So we're gonna check on his health while we were at it. But anyway, he, did you get him? Oh look, Fred got him.
For a second.
All right, I guess we'll leave him be. Sorting done. That was kind of cool. Hopefully you got some new angles there and some new perspectives as to how the sort goes down. One of the nice things about bringing your cows in like this is that it gives you a chance to look over everything. We check on them out in the field regularly, kind of take some mineral supplements out there every week or so, and you kind of see what's going on. But when you get them all in a really close situation like this, you really get to lay an eye on them. Lay an eye on them, son. Remember that song, Amos Moses? Lay an eye on them, son. Anyway, you get to lay a good eye on them. And so when we were sorting there, just to explain kind of what you were seeing, Dad, of course, well, Rooster was getting all the calves, and then brother-in-law Matt was getting all the cows, and then old Weed Man Weeds was running the odds and ends gate, which was these guys. What he ended up getting was the bulls. The bulls have been breeding long enough. It's time to pull them out because we don't want the bulls breeding any longer. We want our calving window or our calving season to be tight. So the bulls are out now. They'll be on their own until next summer. Also, another thing that Freddie was catching was some of the neighbors' cattle. We had a fence between us and our neighbors, which we get along with real good. They're good neighbors, the Deschmakers. And we had a fence got totally leveled between us and them. So we kind of did musical cows there a little bit. I have a feeling they have a few of ours, and we definitely have a few of theirs that we sorted off. So now we can call them. They'll just bring a trailer over to our place, load them in the trailer, take them back to their place, yeah? They're working their cattle on Wednesday, I believe, and they're bound to find a few cattle of ours over there, I'm sure. So they'll be returning the favor most likely. So Freddie caught those. And then we found there's always a few little special cases that you find, okay? And here's what they are. Let me show you. So right in here, this poor little guy, and I'll show you up close when we get him in the chute. He had an encounter with a porcupine, and he has got a nose full of quills. As you can imagine, him trying to nurse his mama with those quills in his nose, probably not a great experience for either of them. And then over here in the next pen, that black cow, she's got a front foot that has an infection in it. We call it foot rot. So she's gonna get some sulfur pills. That'll get her back on her feet, so to speak, and get her all healed up and going. And then the cow next to her, the black and white, the other black and white one, she's a longhorn cross. And she has a weird thing going on where one of her horns is growing back into her head. Their horns will curl down, and it's actually starting to press into her skull. So for her own health and safety, we need to go ahead and cut that. We're gonna cut that horn. We won't cut it off. We'll just trim it a little bit, just trim the tip of it. And that should keep it away from her head and keep it from piercing her skull. Oh yeah, and then lastly, of course, we're gonna work all the calves. But before we do that, look what we have here. A special treat. Is this
Spinach
avocado
protein
juice?
shake.
Wait, what is it?
Spinach protein shake.
Oh man. Although I tell you what, if it makes your arms look like this, oh baby, then that's good. What did you get? You got a text from what?
Oh, from you, begging for food. So
Begging.
this is what we whipped up.
We got some spinach and avocado juice. Right there, look at
Fresh
that.
green beans from the garden.
Fresh green beans.
Some nice marinated chicken.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're gonna have the energy to be able to continue on. Oh, I can't wait. It's going right in here. Oh yeah.
Hey, get up, Boo Boo. Get him out of boy. Oh. Get him, Big Blue. Get out. Go.
Come on, bullies. You're about done.
There's about 10 or 15 people down.
Well, you guys, it's pretty well wrapped up. Kicked the cows out. They're back on the green grass, however long that lasts for. They're just pouring the milk cow, giving her one little shot to keep the flies off her and her little calves. That's that. Today is my 13th wedding anniversary. Well, I actually share that with my brother-in-law and my sister. So we're gonna go on a little double date tonight. Go into town, go have some dinner. After we shower, of course. Oh, I think I'm sufficiently sunburned. However, I've actually done really good this summer. I don't think I ever got sunburned in Montana till today. And it was because I had my hair up. So my neck's a little roasty, I can feel it. But I got sunburned at Cerro Gordo. And other than that, not too bad. So there you saw it, you guys. We went out, we gathered up the cattle, we brought them in, we got those calves vaccinated so that when they separate from their mothers, they'll be able to stay healthy. We got, and I forgot to mention this earlier on, but we also gave I guess you'd call it kind of like, you might think of it like an annual flu shot, I guess. I always try to relate things somewhat to a human side of things for those of you that are not in the cattle world, of course, you can help you understand. But we give the cows a shot every fall. Basically, it's kind of just a little pick-me-up type shot to help them get to feeling better and flushing out, so that they can go into the fall and into the winter also free of any ailments or bugs or things that are causing them problems. We found those cattle that had the one with the sore foot that we gave those sulfur pills to, and she should be, usually those pills within like 3 days, that cow, she should just be out there strolling, loving life. You saw that up close action of the porcupine quills. Weren't those gnarly? Can you guys imagine that? That one actually looked like it must have got slapped by a tail. Because we'll get a few cows that just get a few in their nostril. Not a big deal. That dude, I didn't count them, but you saw him there, and there were lots. And they were actually swelled up. Lily saw some of that pus I was able to squeeze out of there. We got him shaped up, all cleaned up, squared away, and he'll be able to go nurse on his mama again finally. And oh, the cow with the horns, those were soft horns, so we didn't have to clip her horns. Cows either have hard horns or soft horns. Hers were soft, so they're harmless. So now, again, just to recap, the cattle, the earliest we can sell those calves now is 1 month from today, all right? And then to run back and remind you of last year, we had already sold our calves this time last year, which was unprecedented. If you're new to the channel and you haven't had a chance to see, you really should go back and look over some of the drought story to understand how uncommon everything's been around here the last few years. But yeah, the calves, we sold them on the 27th last year. So they were already 2 days long gone this time last year. So we definitely have at least a month's worth of grass out there still. If it burns up and dries up, we'll sell our calves probably a month from today. If it gets cooled off and we get some nice rain showers and that growing season kind of stretches out a little bit, hey, there's some hope for a brighter future. We can keep them calves into October, November. But I'm guessing the way things are kind of feeling, we're probably going to be shipping those things at the end of September, which isn't too bad. That's not too bad. It's still very early for us, but all things considered, with the drought and whatnot, it's okay. We do have a lead on, I told you, I mentioned in a video that the straw deal like we did last year fell through. Got a different thing, a different lead, something else shaking there. So I'm excited to show you guys about that, and I think what we're gonna end up doing, it's gonna lead us down a little different path than we went down last year. Similar, but yet different, okay? You guys, thank you so much for all your support. It's really neat to be able to put this content out there for you. Really happy to be able to put something out that's family friendly, something that's hopefully clean. Hopefully, it's not hopefully clean. I know it's clean, but hopefully it's inspiring. Hopefully you can either, I know a lot of you like to reminisce about some of these past times. Some of the things we do reminds you of things that you guys did. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoy that, and hopefully you can draw some inspiration, or if nothing else, some laughs and some smiles as you follow along. One last thing I wanted to mention and share with you guys, my brother Luke and I started a podcast. It's called Steady at the Wheel. Steady at the Wheel. And in this podcast, we have been spending time going back and sharing with you guys a lot about how we were raised. We've got a lot of crazy stories and crazy experiences, I realize, from growing up. So we've been sitting down. I think we've got, by the time you see this, we'll have 5 or 6 episodes out. Trying to keep those episodes around an hour, a little over an hour long. We got old Rooster to come sit down and record some stuff with us, but really just taking time for people to be able to get to know us a little bit better and understand how we got to where we are and why we are the way we are. Why do I work my kids the way that I work my kids? You know, why do we raise our kids the way we raise them? Why is Weed Man Weeds on the tractor at age 11, you know, raking hay? You're gonna learn a lot about why we do that on this podcast. Some really funny stories, a lot of trucking stories. A lot of our life was patterned, or not patterned. A lot of our life was influenced by trucking. I mean, there's really no part of our life that didn't have trucking involved in it. So if you're looking for a way, you want to connect a little closer, you want to understand a little bit more about us and how we're here, go check out that podcast, Steady at the Wheel, and let us know what you think. If you like it, you know, rate it and comment on it. We're trying to get this thing off the ground, trying to get it up and going, and having a pretty good little following. Haven't shared a whole lot of it with you guys yet, but maybe something will be forthcoming. Maybe I'll go back to where I grew up and shoot a YouTube episode over there, so you guys can kind of understand a little bit more of the backstory of this podcast and put some imagery to some of the stories that you hear on it. So with that, I've got to go get showered. The girls are probably ready to go. Me and Matt got to get cleaned up. We're going to go in and have a steak, because that's what cattlemen do. And it'll be good. So till next time, you guys be good.